There are moments in sports media when a coach says more than they intend to. This was one of those moments. Before the sparks and fever even tipped off, Los Angeles head coach Lynn Roberts stood at the podium and gave reporters something far more revealing than a standard pregame preview. She didn't offer the usual polite compliments about a star opponent. She broke down Caitlin Clark like a coach who genuinely feared what was about to happen on the floor. Roberts didn't hedge. She didn't manage the moment the way most coaches do when a superstar is standing 30 feet away in a shoot-around. Instead, she sounded an alarm, publicly, on the record, in front of every camera in the room. And here's why that matters. Lynn Roberts wasn't brought to Los Angeles to be diplomatic. She was hired to rebuild the Sparks into a genuine contender, in a league where a single Caitlin Clark appearance can move attendance numbers and television ratings almost by itself. A coach in that position does not go out of her way to praise an opposing player in public unless there's a real strategic concern underneath it. So what exactly was she worried about? Pace. Roberts made clear that Clark doesn't just score, she accelerates everything around her. She speeds up the whole Indiana offense, turning live ball turnovers into fast break points in the blink of an eye. According to Roberts, her team's half-court defense wasn't actually the problem in their previous meeting. It was live ball turnovers turning into instant transition buckets. Against a team built around Clark's speed, mistakes like that get punished immediately. But here's the twist nobody expected. Even while dissecting how dangerous Clark is, Roberts pointed out something the Sparks failed to exploit themselves, a size mismatch on the other end of the floor. When Indiana was forced to play smaller due to injuries, Los Angeles had a front-court advantage they simply didn't use. Roberts was blunt about it. Her team recognized the mismatch defensively, but failed to attack that same mismatch on offense. That's the real story here. This wasn't a coach fawning over a rival superstar. This was a coach conducting a film session in real time, in front of reporters, using Caitlin Clark as the example, while also holding her own roster accountable for missed opportunities. Now here's where the story gets even more interesting, because Roberts wasn't just talking about Clark. She was asked directly about the partnership between Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, and her answer told you everything about how she views elite backcourt duos. She called them two of the most complete guards in the sport, explaining how their skill sets complement each other perfectly. Clark's shooting and playmaking paired with Mitchell's ability to get downhill and create for herself and others. When healthy together, Roberts suggested, that combination finds a rhythm that's genuinely difficult to defend. That's not the language of someone dismissing the threat. That's the language of a coach who respects exactly what she's up against, and who was clearly still thinking about it well after the podium session ended. If you're new here, this is WNBA Updates, where we go beyond the box score and break down what coaches, players, and insiders are really saying behind the scenes. If breakdowns like this are your thing, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And drop a comment letting us know who you think wins this pace battle, Clark's speed, or the Sparks' size advantage. Now let's talk about what actually happened once the ball was tipped, because the story on the floor backed up everything Roberts said before the game even started. The Sparks bench delivered one of the most efficient team shooting performances you'll see all season, shooting nearly 50% from the field, 40% from three, and 90% from the free throw line, all in the same game. That's the kind of statistical trifecta most teams don't hit more than a couple times a year. It's normally the type of shooting line that gets buried under a superstar's individual numbers. Instead, it came from role players executing a game plan with discipline. And Roberts made a point of giving credit exactly where she felt it belonged, not to her stars, but to her bench. She singled out a guard who controlled tempo and organized the offense defensively. She praised a returning player, back on the floor for the first time in 7 months, purely for the physical presence and toughness she brought off the bench, regardless of what showed up in the box score. She called out another player as the unsung hero of the entire night, someone who generated extra scoring chances through hustle plays that will never make a highlight reel. And she credited a bench shooter for hitting one enormous three-pointer at the exact moment her team needed it most, not the misses that came before it, just that one shot when it mattered. None of those are the players a coach highlights if she's chasing a headline. Those are the players a coach highlights when she genuinely means what she says about character and effort mattering more than the stat sheet. And that consistency says something bigger about the culture Roberts is building in Los Angeles. That same language, the same emphasis on players saying yes to whatever role is asked of them, is the exact language Roberts has used before to describe her rookie point guard, a former teammate of Caitlin Clark's back at Iowa. The formula sounds familiar because it is familiar. It's the same foundation that made that backcourt dangerous in college, long before trade rumors, rebuilding timelines, or rookie contracts ever entered the conversation. So here's the real question buried underneath all of this. If Lynn Roberts has already built a locker room where effort outweighs ego, where extra possessions matter more than personal stats, and where every player empties the tank for 40 minutes straight, is that culture actually building towards something bigger? Is this current group simply developing, or is Roberts quietly constructing the exact type of environment a future superstar addition would want to walk into? Because right now, the story isn't about the Sparks chasing a star. It's about a coach proving she can already get elite production without one, which, ironically, might be exactly what makes Los Angels more attractive to a star down the line. That's the layer most of the trade speculation online is missing entirely. It's not about whether the Sparks can lure a superstar. It's about whether they've already built the environment that would make a superstar want to come. That's the breakdown for today. If you want more deep dives into the coaching decisions, locker room culture, and storylines shaping this league beyond the headlines, make sure you're subscribed to WNBA Updates. Turn on notifications so you catch every breakdown the moment it drops. And before you go, let us know in the comments. Is Lynn Roberts building a contender the long way, or is this bench performance a one-night flash? See you in the next one.